Well, it's that time, obviously, to have the exhibition game this week, to already have the closed scrimmage and a couple of inter-squad opportunities. You're trying to look at the team and see who's kind of fortifying their roles. We're getting a couple people back. I'm not going to tip my hand on who and when, but I think this past weekend was good to have a closed scrimmage to play against somebody else, to see the physicality, to have referees in the building. It's always going to be called tighter, I think, early in the season. And as much as we try to do that in practice, I think having people in their official garb in the black and white always helps that. So, I think it's a great tradition, obviously, that Coach Ryan and Coach Stone started. We're going to play a Whitewater team that's been to 11 of the last 12 NCAA tournaments, has a roster full of kids from Wisconsin, kids who have been here, watched games growing up. Obviously, they're very well coached, and it gives us an opportunity to play a very different type of opponent than we played in the closed scrimmage on Saturday. So all these, you have to use these experiences to be able to get your underclassmen ready, to make sure that the seniors and the juniors are helping impart their wisdom as we get ready. And it's a great chance on Wednesday night with the lights on in the arena for our four freshmen, but also to make sure that we have things heading in the right direction for November 5th.
Was it Southern Illinois you played in the close scrimmage on Saturday?
Illinois State.
Illinois State. What did you take from that, Jonathan?
I think the first thing is we tried to simulate a road trip. Because we do know the third game of the year we're going to be traveling to Boulder to play against Colorado, and with four freshmen, to give them that opportunity, so nothing is a first experience once we get to the regular season. I think we played against a team that was extremely physical, really, really well coached. A team that I knew going into the scrimmage when we scheduled this would be ahead of us in certain areas, because they did go on a foreign trip to Italy this summer. So they got the 10 extra practice days, multiple games overseas there. I'm hoping that experience will help, expedite our learning curve a little bit more. We definitely gave us film that for us to be able to learn from and to play them versus our practice players. I think we had to guard against different actions we hadn't seen. And see how our kids responded. We were able to do a lot of different things, and I think the best part of all is we have a lot of film now. We have a lot of film on. We played 3 quarters. We did situations. We were able to do a little zone offense. They were working on some things, but I think it just helps you to put in different situations, and then you have an opportunity in a closed scrimmage to stop it and teach. And make sure that, again, it's in some ways, I think in a lot of ways, it's really, really helpful to have at this point of the year before you have your first exhibition, because hopefully those teaching points, you can make them there in the midst of everything like you would in a regular game, that the kids can take that and be able to move it forward and be able to respond, that they can help teach each other as well.
Jonathan, based on that scrimmage, that little bit that you saw, your returning players and the freshman class you got coming in, do you have a feel at this point for the potential of this team, or what kind of team you're going to put on the court?
Yeah, I think I think the versatility. I think the versatility not only from the size with the freshmen. I think with Sydney Hilliard and Tara Stoffaker and Julie Pospislova, that they can play not only different positions on the floor, but their skill sets are a little bit different. And then Sarah Stapleton gives us, an anchor post player that's able to get deep positions. So I think it's been really good. I think for them, there was a definite learning curve on Saturday, because, again, the speed of that game has been faster, I think, even when we have guys who are really quick, and then you have the anxiety of having the lights on. So I think we've seen the impact they could make. It's interesting to have 3 of them here this summer. And I think that's part of the reason the progression is further along, because they're quick learners. And I think our seniors and our juniors have done a good job of helping move that learning curve. And I think everybody will agree that Julie's experience, she's a 20-year-old freshman, She wasn't here for the 8 weeks in the summer, but I think she's jumped right in, and just some of the things playing against professionals for the last 3 years have really helped her be able to adjust quickly. So I still, again, I think what you got to see when the lights come on, how people respond. And we're hoping that Wednesday gives us a little bit more view of that to get ready for North Florida.
Has a starting group emerged yet, at least for starters?
I have a general idea, and I'm happy to talk to you, Dennis, but I think we'll unveil that on Wednesday night. But just trying to see, too, I think the scrimmage gives you an opportunity to look at different groupings and see somebody that has maybe not started in the past, how they respond to starting. Also, a little bit of if we have somebody that can give us a great spark off the bench. I'd like to figure out who the finishers are, too. But I think knowing the opportunity is there for everybody across the roster, and not just because of your year in school is going to determine that. So I think you've seen from my past experience, I don't have any issues with starting freshmen if they're the people that have taken the opportunity and earn it. So I think we've got a good idea. We've tried to look at with the closed scrimmage and the inner squads against the guys of different groupings, and we're still taking, again, from Saturday, and we'll do that on Wednesday as well. But I think trying to look at a group, we have a pretty good idea what we'll go with on Wednesday.
Jonathan, safe to say your program took a step last year?
I hope it took more than just one. So I think building what we're able to do in the non-conference, some of the wins in the Big Ten, and then the most recent momentum of how we performed in the Big Ten tournament. And I think of nothing else, the belief of what the process is. And Coach Gard talks all the time about not getting caught up in anything besides what's that day-to-day process of getting better. And I think our kids seeing that sometimes that doesn't show when you want it to, but you've got to wait and be patient with it and continue to put the work in, especially when no one's looking. And so much of that is, I think, over the summer, you're developing your chemistry. Your players, I think, individually improve the most during the summer and the off season, and then putting that all together once you get to the fall. So I hope we can take that momentum from a confidence standpoint and really help us push forward to take more steps this year.
Beyond that day-to-day, do you have a big picture goal? What you expect? What's a fair expectation for this team?
Yeah, I think this is a team, and especially when you have seniors who were my first group coming in that I got a chance to coach. You'd like them to have goals of something they haven't experienced before, and I think for us that's obviously an opportunity to play in the postseason. And I think seeing how you can take your non-conference, how the styles you're playing against, and building the confidence and getting your younger players involved. And then taking that confidence and being more successful in the Big Ten than we have in the first 3 years, that puts you in a position to be playing in the postseason. And I'd like to be able to have that experience, for our seniors, so that they get to have that during, their playing time here, because I think that's something that they would carry with them the rest of their lives.